name is Jenny, and I'm a wife and mom raising 2 kids. But I used to live a more glamorous life as a TV reporter. I was on the nightly news interviewing pop stars and politicians. So when I said goodbye to TV and hello to motherhood, I suddenly discovered what we moms are up against. We live in a world that tells us to be rich and famous, thin and successful. You know, almost nobody says, "Oh, hey, you're a mom? That's fabulous." But you are fabulous, and I'm here to tell you why.
It's the Channel Mom Show, celebrating you with Jenny Dean Schmidt.
I was waiting for the woo. Doesn't that song that does woo? Okay. Didn't get it, though. Welcome back to the Channel Mom Show on Mile High Sports Radio, AM. There it is. AM 1510, FM 93.7, where we are celebrating you, Mom. Every single mom out there. I am your host, Jenny Dean Schmidt. And you know what? You can talk to me. You really can call me, because today we actually want to chat a little bit about that ridiculous last week of school. Okay, I'm completely worn out now with the last week of school.
I'm coming up on it.
Yeah, we just had ours up in Park County. So call us if you have a story about it or a comment about it, 303-297-1510. Or you can email at us at channelmom@AOL. Or finally, go to our Facebook page. We were having some fabulous conversations about Botox this week. Facebook.com/Channel Mom. I think you got to like us in order to talk to us, because you might not want to talk to us if you hate us. So please like us. All righty. Right now, we have a really cool interview. I'm excited about this. We are going to be talking to the co-executive director of Mercy Ministries and Mercy Trails Ranch, because they do something really fabulous there. First of all, I want to welcome to the show Josie Gwynn. Hi, Josie.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. You are a mother of 3, I happen to know, and you do run Mercy Trails Ranch along with your husband, Scott, in Northern Colorado. Now, you offer a very interesting alternative to going to the shrink. Let's just be honest. It's called a horse, better known as equine therapy, and it's proven to be very effective for hurting kids and families. So I'm going to ask you, Josie, please educate our listeners about what equine therapy is and how it works.
You know, Jenny, Helen Thompson, who's a famous author, said, "In riding a horse, we borrow freedom." And in a lot of cases, equine-assisted therapy, equine-assisted riding, equine-assisted activities is used to provide an interaction with horses and teach riding skills to people with disabilities. And these disabilities can range anything from cognitive to physical to social or emotional. Mm-hmm. And people have found that working with horses provides a wide range of benefits to participants who are involved in that, from companionship, responsibility, confidence, leadership, trust, respect, empathy, compassion, etc.
Yeah. And I know you've witnessed transformations. I've been to your ranch. You've told me about some of the wonderful things that have gone on when somebody gets on a horse, which is fabulous. So just tell me, what do you think happens between, rider and horse that is almost unexplainable, but that you witness in the transformation aspect of it? Because I would imagine for the average mom that's listening that thinks, oh, maybe my child could use this, or maybe our family could use this for healing. What do you see go on in several days with a horse, or maybe repeat trips to riding and having companionship with the horse?
We actually see a physical, emotional, spiritual change in people. There's something about working side by side. We always do a chore with each family that comes here to our ranch. And then people see value in something that they have contributed. And then in working with horses, there's a connection that's made in being that close to a 1,000-pound animal that trusts you implicitly. And horses cannot lie. They will not spend time with anything that they are afraid of, that they don't trust, and they can't share your secrets. So if you are able to spend time with a horse, we actually can see people physically, their shoulders will lift, their head will lift, their eyes will get brighter, sometimes with even one session. And in this day and age, we say to a lot of people, all families are in crisis. And whether you think so or not, you know somebody in crisis, or your family is struggling with something within your family. So it doesn't have to be this deep, involved story, of abuse in your life. It's that the family is being bombarded by multiple things in our culture, and we just need to be able to draw back together as a family, and the horses and the ranch offer an opportunity to do that.
Well, and in equine therapy,
you as a trainer not only know everything you need to know about horses and riding a horse, but you also have been trained a bit in psychology and how to draw people out and to address their problems with the horse. Is that not correct?
Yeah, that is true. My husband and I have extensive experience in ministry, but also in basically psychological first aid. We're both licensed chaplains and have experience in dealing with people and families who have experienced crisis and trauma in their lives.
Sure. You know, and because you're in ministry, I know that you believe, and I guess I believe too, having been around the horses, that horses have this God-given ability to help heal people. And who knew? But, they're these powerful creatures, and God can use anything. And apparently in this situation, it is a horse that helps these kids and families, as you say. I know you have one really great story because you've told me about it, about this very wounded child that came in. Please tell me about that story and how the horse changed that child's life.
Sure. Actually, I'm going to tell a story that illustrates both the physical benefits and the emotional benefits of therapeutic-assisted activities or therapeutic riding. And this is actually a news story for you, Jenny. But we had a group of kids come in who are African refugees. And this one young man who came with the group, he's from Sudan, and he has cerebral palsy. And he had leg braces on and walked with hand crutches. And we did a bunch of different activities around the ranch, and he kind of gamely participated. You know, he had a brave face on, but he didn't really smile, and he kind of struggled to be involved. And the kids kind of helped him a little bit, but he was a little bit on the fringe. And the one thing he really wanted to do was ride. And we had horses saddled that afternoon, and we have this big, broad mare. She's just really gentle and kind, and her name is Sunny. And we talked to him and said, we're going to get you up on Sunny. And it took several of us because he had leg braces on, and then he's a teenager. He's a 17-year-old boy. And we got him up on Sunny, and he just kind of started to relax. He set his arm crutches, off to the side, and he hung onto the saddle horn, and we started to walk. And this game face that he had on started to break, and this smile started to come out. And as we moved, he looked at us, and he didn't speak much English, and he just said, faster, faster. And we started to move a little bit faster, and that smile got a little bit bigger, and the kids started to gather at the fence, and they were watching him in the arena, and he just said, faster, faster, and that smile got bigger and bigger, and Sonny broke into a trot, and he just threw his head back with a laugh and just said, I'm flying. I'm flying.
That freedom.
And for a moment, these constraints that earth, this broken earth, had put on him, that had bound him to the ground, for a moment, by the grace of God, on his angel and horsehair, he was free. And it's a story that illustrates to us even more emphatically, because we just felt the grace of God there, that the horses were uniquely created by God to provide physical and emotional and spiritual freedom.
Sure.
And they're a tool that he has given us to do that.
Sure, and I can't even imagine that kind of limitation that little boy struggles with. And so I'm sure that freedom was just enough to make him giddy, because that horse became his arms and legs and did make him feel free. It's just beautiful. I love that you're using horses that way. And I know they can heal in so many other ways. And I've ridden Sunny. If I can ride Sunny, just about anybody can ride Sunny. And quickly, just to wrap up, Josie, I know you've got a fun event coming up that if people want to come up to your beautiful, gorgeous ranch in northern Colorado, they can come up for free, and you've got something going on very soon. Please tell us about it.
We do. On May 29th, we are having a cowboy church service in our arena under the open blue prairie sky, and you're welcome to come and participate in that. It's at 10:30 in the morning, and then we are hosting a chili and cornbread lunch and an open house from 11:30 to 4:30. You can come and meet the horses and the bottle calves and the dairy cow and the chickens and take a hay ride and just enjoy part of God's beautiful creation, learn a little bit more about the ranch, and check out how you and your family and your kids can participate.
Yeah, it's fabulous up there. How do they get a hold of you, Josie? Give us the website.
They can go to our website at mercytrailsranch.com. It's all one word. You can find more information as well at mercy-ministries.com, and there's ways to contact us through that website, and there's more information about Cowboy Church.
Wonderful, wonderful, Josie. And this stuff is going on all over the country. It really does work. Equine therapy. People should look it up. I think it's wonderful.
Thank you, Josie. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you so much.
Great time at Cowboy Church. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Josie.
Thanks, then.
All right, bye-bye. All right. Now we get to talk about that last week of school. And Josh may or may not have an opinion about this, but I know you and I do, Shelley. I love my children, and I know most mothers and fathers in America love their children and are dedicated. And truly, when I go to these events, there are many fathers there too. But can we just stop the madness the last week of school? It's like, let's smash in everything that we didn't do for them, because it's really like the spoiling time. Okay, we've learned, but we forgot to spoil them all year, so we really need to spoil them, multiple times in the last week. And it's just crazy for the mother. And if I have 2, you have 3. Right. It's just cuckoo to try to beat all these things.
I'm not sure any learning occurs the last week of school either.
Really?
Well, I was informed that in science, they were having a spit wad contest.
Oh, okay. Wait.
I won't mention the school.
Yeah, please don't mention the school. We like schools. And really there's a broader picture here. And it's, again, what gets back to some of the things that Robin was talking about, where I want to empower mothers is a bit kind of overused now, but I want to empower the mothers out there to say, look, you as an individual matter, you and your marriage to your husband matters, and some that are not married really do need some time on, to do good things for themselves if they're single moms or if they're widowed, whatever it is. And sometimes moms and adults get lost in this crazy kid mix. And I see it on the weekends too. I've got to believe there are moms out there that are listening today that are driving around like crazy people, going from event to event, and they're going to be exhausted by Sunday night, not having rested at all for the weekday work.
That's right. It gets crazy on the weekends.
Yeah.
But then in the end, I wouldn't trade it.
No, that's true. That's true. I mean, but it has changed. Like when I grew up, my parents didn't feel, they came to some things, but they didn't feel like they were supposed to be on this nonstop schedule.
Everything.
Yeah. Of coming to everything. And neither were my friends' parents. So it wasn't, I have great parents. It wasn't any problem on their part. But I don't know. I just kind of want to rethink, like, how should we really be doing 3 sports all year long? Should we really be doing every event possible? Should we be giving them all these classes? Because then I think sometimes,
everything becomes about them.
Everything becomes about them. And then there's all this heart training aspect that they're so outward directed. They're so about athletics and their mind and their this, and give me this video game, and let's go to, the amusement park, and let's go.
That's not outward directed. That's inward directed.
No, but hold on. It's all the stuff that they can get their hands on and apply themselves to, but not their heart. Not their heart. I'm so concerned that sometimes we just don't have that quiet time with our children to say, okay, these are the things that matter spiritually, in issues of the heart, your mind, etc. You know what I'm saying?
And then you can take that and apply it to the sports on the weekends, the other children that they're engaged with.
Yeah.
If you can take the time to slow down.
Yeah, that's true. You're really good about that. You're good about those life lesson moments, teaching, what do they call it? Teachable moments, where you can just take somebody else's child even on those crazy days, and something unfolds that gives you the opportunity to say, okay, now's our chance to teach you about forgiving each other, or, whatever it is, right? That unfolds.
Yeah. Or you can just point to, well, this is what it looks like when the mommy's gone.
Yeah.
In this child's life, only because you went to baseball that day.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. And I've had to watch my children go through, watching other kids' families go through divorce. And you got to slow down and talk about those things. And you really do. Just everything, they're not going to be equipped at all when they grow up if they think it's constantly, bada boom, bada bing. And they won't be able to slow down and be effective human beings that help our world if they don't have those heart issues resolved.
That's right. That's right.
Don't you think? All righty. That's enough. I'm off my soapbox. All righty. This is the Channel Mom Show, AM 1510, FM 93.7. And we are just so here to celebrate you. So please know that next week we got some really neat things coming up. We are going to have some new information on how to help your teenagers or to prepare for having your toddlers turn into teens. Some amazing insight into how to understand teenagers, including the sensitive topics. And there are some big ones, really hard to talk about. And I'm really curious about this. And these things will help you like your teenagers more, love them better, so on and so forth. So please join us on Facebook, Twitter, so on. We'd love to hear from you. channelmom@AOL.com. And we will see you next week. Take care, every mother out there.